Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. With the Season 3 Reloaded update, of course, it was an actual title update that required a download, and usually every single time we see downloadable updates, the devs end up adding in future content files, things that end up getting data mined and ultimately leaked for future content. And that is exactly the case with Season 3 Reloaded. We got some new information on some future weapons coming to Vanguard and Warzone, some new operator information, and apparently some newly updated files regarding some, let's say, supernatural events happening in Warzone. As we go through it all today, if you enjoy the video at any point, let me know by dropping a like on it. It really does help grow the channel. And if you're new here or if you have not already subscribed, every day I got you covered with everything going on in COD, news, updates, loadouts, tips. You'll find it all right here. So feel free to subscribe with those noties turned on. Now, of course, first things first, because what we're talking about today is ultimately leaks and rumors. Make sure to take everything with a grain of salt. Nothing here is officially confirmed quite yet. It is all subject to change. It is all capable of being updated in some capacity. It's capable of being scrapped, pushed back, delayed, all sorts of stuff like that. So take it for what it is there. That said, we do have some very interesting information that, curiously enough, primarily stemmed from the Vanguard update and not the Warzone update, even though a lot of this does have to do with Warzone. So first up, the biggest amount of leaks that stemmed from this previous update was, of course, a lot of the MW2 like pre-order and Vault Edition content. We already covered all of that in a separate video, and I'll be sure to link that down in the description below if you want to go and check that out. It breaks down like all the operator bonuses you get, blueprints, stuff like that. So that was there. But then, of course, we got actual Vanguard and Warzone content as well, including first and foremost here, some new weapons. Of course, we already know every time there's a mid-season update, we usually see some new weapons added into the files. It was the same deal here. There were two new weapons that appeared in the game files after this update, one of which was a new rifle, or is a new rifle, I should say. The other, a brand new pistol. Unfortunately, that is about as specific as it gets for these two weapons. But we can assume that with Season 4 and or Season 4 Reloaded, we're going to see at least one new assault rifle and one new pistol. We really haven't seen any pistols debut throughout Vanguard up until this point. Rifles, we've seen a handful. I'm not surprised they're going to do more. I think they sort of discovered if they do less shotguns, less pistols, less marksman rifles, and more snipers and SMGs and ARs, they're probably going to sell more of those in-season bundles, and players are more likely to, you know, go through the battle pass to get those actual meta weapons that you'll be using a lot more. What is curious here, though, is that we have several weapons in-game already. I shouldn't say in-game, in the files already that have been updated previously from different game updates that we still don't have relating to certain weapons, including the Lee Enfield, which I find to be particularly interesting because this was a launch leak for Vanguard. We all assumed this was going to be a Season 1 or Season 2 DLC weapon. There were camo files already done for it as well, apparently. So I'd be very surprised if by the end of Vanguard we don't have the Lee Enfield as a DLC weapon. Also, the Shisho LMG, we've talked about this one a few times in the past. That's still in the files as well. And most recently, we got some leaks regarding the F2000, which of course we saw back in MW2, and I've already talked about previously here on the channel how I would expect we see a similar situation to Vanguard last year, where in Season 5, potentially Season 6, we end up getting some MW2 weapons in the Battle Pass, just like how last year we got some Vanguard weapons in the Battle Pass, just to play with those early and build some hype. I'm not sure if the F2000 would be the most, anticipated weapon in a battle pass versus a UMP or an intervention or an ACR, but the F2000 was also found in the files. So those are three weapons that are still MIA, but we've heard of in the past. Maybe one of those falls in as those new weapons, either for Season 4 Reloaded, Season 4 launch. Later on down the line, we're going to have to wait and see, but nonetheless, there were some new updates there. Now, moving on from the weapons, we also got a few new operator leaks in the form of names that were updated in the files. This includes 3 names in total. We got Butcher. Obviously, we all know who Captain Butcher is. We can assume he's going to be an operator at some point in time here. The two others, we just, again, get their names and we don't really know anything else about them. One of them was Callum, and then the other one was Ikenna or Ikenna. I'm not too sure how to pronounce that, but 3 names in total. We usually see 3 operators every single season, so potentially those are going to be these Season 4 operators. We should find out here in a couple of weeks once the Season 4 teasers begin, but yeah, again, those were also updated with that. A bit of a strange leak that doesn't really mean too much in the grand scheme of things, but it's cool nonetheless, is that apparently on the main menu, how we have like the Cold War tab and the Warzone tab and the Vanguard tab and then Modern Warfare and whatnot, there is going to be an MW2 tab that is like a countdown for the beta at one point in time, but then also the launch of the game. So that'll be like a new aesthetic update for the main menu. Like I said, nothing too crazy, but kind of a cool thing nonetheless. What I'm probably the most curious about out of all of these leaks is that apparently the zombies strings in the Warzone files were recently updated. They had not been updated since we had the whole zombie outbreak event during Cold War on Verdansk 84, where obviously every single week we saw a new place infected. It went from like TV station to stadium to all sorts of other areas and ultimately led to the map being infested with zombies, right? It was a really cool event, honestly. All the zombies events so far have been awesome. I still think the Halloween event from MW is probably the best Warzone event we've ever had. Anyways, I digress. The zombies files in Warzone were updated for some reason. Now, that could just be pure coincidence, or it could mean that they are starting to prepare for what could be the Halloween event or the zombies event this year, which, hey, I'm excited for it. It would make a lot of sense. They oftentimes do a lot of work on events and whatnot in different files very far in advance. You know, October, I guess, really isn't all that far away, if we're being honest. The fall really isn't all that far away. So it's very possible that in a season and a half, we could end up starting to see some zombies teasers in Warzone and ultimately a new zombies event as well. So very interesting stuff going on there. We could have zombies on Caldera or potentially maybe even on Rebirth as well. We really haven't seen that happen yet, and Rebirth is obviously now a huge part of Warzone gameplay and really has its own identity in game now. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see some Rebirth events over the course of time leading up to MW2, in addition to whatever may come to Caldera. And then to close things out, we did see some new leaks for presumably some new Vanguard multiplayer maps. There were 2 new maps that were added to the files with this update. One is called Liberty. Got no idea what that could be. That's a very ambiguous name for a map, and it's probably going to end up being a code name. So that's the name that we got. The second was Malta Fort. So I feel like that one's maybe a little bit more descriptive. It'll be a fort map of some kind, but nothing too crazy as far as the map names go. We can get a little bit of information, but nothing too crazy with those until a later date when some more details get added in about those, or if we see some teasers or obviously a roadmap, stuff like that. But that said, some very curious leaks from the newest updates between Warzone and Vanguard. I imagine over the course of the coming weeks, we're going to start to see some Season 4 teasers surface, and we could very well connect the dots with some of these leaks that we discussed here today. But that's going to do it for today. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. Would be seriously appreciated. And of course, if you are new to the channel or if you have not already subscribed, every single day I am talking about the latest news, updates, loadouts, tips, leaks, rumors, everything going on in COD. You're going to find it right here. So feel free to subscribe to stay up to date. And as always, if you want to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code WhosImmortal for a discount on all Scuff, G Fuel, Gamer Advantage, and Control Freak products. The links for all those can be found down in the description below. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy. Have an awesome rest of your day. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.